I know a lot of people like to hate on Ripple for being the banking cryptocurrency, as it's been called. And I know that this is criticism from a lot of perspectives, but I actually see it as a compliment. I see it as a really huge advantage as we move forward into the future. I'm willing to make the argument that Ripple has significant potential, pending upon various different developments involving the cryptocurrency market as a whole. However, I do think that from the ashes of what we're currently seeing, we could see a phoenix rise in the technology that is Ripple. And I really think when you look at the roadmap for Ripple, the current situation and dynamics that we're seeing with so many things in the red ultimately could be leveraged in Ripple's favor. So when we look at the news regarding Ripple, there's always some sort of mainstream attention regarding Ripple, some sort of establishment deal that's being struck. And I know that Ripple has its haters. I know that Ripple has its support, much like any cryptocurrency. However, Ripple is really one of those technologies that I find difficult to ignore as we move forward. And of course, we're really seeing a trail being blazed by Ripple that's ultimately going to be setting a standard that's going to be key as we see the current paradigm shift as it's been exerting itself. The banks are really going to be essential, especially in times like these that we're seeing where the space is so volatile. It's definitely something to be said that there is a significant development that's going to need to happen, and it'll happen naturally as things go over time, but there really is a call for stability. But at the same time, that'll be the end of the space that we've gotten so used to. Honestly, I enjoy the fact that cryptocurrency is such a volatile space right now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And moving forward, I'm just pointing out the fact that all the signs are really pointing towards the fact that we are witnessing significant shifts in the way. I mean, look at Ethereum at 470, Bitcoin at 6,000. It's very incredible seeing how well, I mean, of course, at the same time, you have to take into consideration the fact that this is what we're seeing here is due to international variables, but you can't rule out the fact that there is a desire from the establishment to get their beak wet in cryptocurrency. But there is also a lot of I mean, it really does affect levels of trust when we see people who, from just the common everyday person who gets involved with this, I could see how they could get disparaged, which is why I find it important to address that important segment of the audience. And I think it's important to be said that you really need to do your research and your due diligence when it comes to looking into these technologies. But I would say that as we look forward and we see how much changes have happened in the past involving cryptocurrency, I think that as we move into the year 2020, it'll be a completely different space than it is right now. And in 2 years, we could see Bitcoin be taken over by another technology that's down below it. And currently, I mean, we have seen Ripple exchange spaces with Ethereum. It's not unprecedented there, and of course I'd recommend you guys follow Ripple on their official Twitter, because a lot has happened involving Ripple in such a short amount of time, and we're witnessing a lot of these different deals. And even in the light of so many cryptos just taking negative press from the dynamics that we've been seeing unfolding in the light of the current market, Ripple still maintains its positive reputation. So I mean, I'm not fully ruling out any cryptocurrency. I mean, certainly I'm trying to say that this isn't the end of the world, everybody. How's it going, everybody? My name is FaZe Crypto, and welcome to another episode of Crypto Clout. It really is no secret that currently in this stage in the game of cryptocurrency, people are getting tested. Our patience is being tested, our resolve, our strength, the knowledge that we've put into the various different technologies that we've expressed interest in over time it's a big test. Let's not kid ourselves. But also, it's really nothing we haven't seen before. This sort of thing is actually fairly common in the space of cryptocurrency, but that's not the point that I want to make here. I actually want to make a case in the interest of the decline of Bitcoin dominance. Now, I understand that Bitcoin dominance has actually been rising. Well, it's risen. I mean, we've seen it, 40% at the current time of making this content. What does this mean? How are we going to see an end of Bitcoin dominance when so many people are expressing interest? Not necessarily to say that there's more hype around Bitcoin now than there really has ever been. If anything, these sort of market declines that we see are corrections. But at the same time, it is a reflection on the Bitcoin era, because Bitcoin's been at the top for quite some time. Bitcoin is recognized as number one, respectively. Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, essentially, to have such a important position, especially as we see the public consciousness as it's been really warmed up to Bitcoin. It was the first, everybody's heard of Bitcoin. It's a household name at this point. Everybody and their grandmother's heard of it. It's a conversation last Thanksgiving at the dinner table. However, which crypto could defeat Bitcoin, the giant? Bitcoin, the David and Goliath story. Which one would you imagine? I mean, if I were to think of a David and Goliath scenario, Bitcoin and Ripple, that's a David and Goliath scenario if I've ever seen one. I wouldn't completely rule it out that all these different partnerships that we've seen with Ripple. Now, all right, Apple, we've just saw Apple with they basically don't want anybody mining using their devices. As far as the mainstream consumer goes, that's not possible. So that's a huge variable off the table. So many people use Apple devices, but at the same time, which technology is really collaborating with Apple right now in the cryptocurrency world? And then there you go. You have Ripple comes back. All roads ultimately seem to lead back to Ripple. Now everything's down, right? I mean, not everything, but a lot of things are down. Obviously, Tether's freaking doing all right because there's so many people jumping ship on these other ones, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. I mean, apart from a few of the, there's reasons behind every, obviously, but I mean, let's see which ones are doing the best right now. Wow, I mean that is amazing, honestly, when you think about it. The current dynamics that we're witnessing, I mean, as far as the overall context of how things are going, like I said, it's not a reflection on any one of these projects in particular. It's a reflection on the state of the market, and it's been a bumpy road for the past couple of days, even I'll admit. We've seen a lot of things happening. For those of us who've been involved with cryptocurrency for any amount of years, we've seen days like these before, and those who stay involved in crypto are going to see days like these again. So just sort of keep your head up and hope for the best, and maybe walk away from the computer. But I mean, or you could take advantage of the sales that we're witnessing happening right now. It's completely up to you. I mean, obviously this video is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. But your own way that you respond to the market is your own business. I'm basically just saying, I'm not your dad, but at the end of the day, I mean, there is two ways that you could look at it. You could either see the situation that's unfolding from an optimistic glass full sort of perspective, or you could see it from the glass empty, and it's really up to you at the end of the day. So all that being said, I think that I really do have a interest in Ripple. I think that when we see cryptocurrencies having so many different levels of applications in real time, I think that Ripple is one of those technologies that's hard to ignore for a multitude of reasons. And a lot of that's got to do with institutional money that we can expect to be seeing pumped into cryptocurrency as things continue to move forward. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.